wanted to make a comment on the Charlottesville rallies or whatever, protests. And it never ceases to amaze me, the audacity of the right-wing extremists, the white supremacists and the neo-Nazis and Nazis, people openly supporting the regime of Adolf Hitler, who was one of the most grotesque and murderous periods in human history. That regime caused the deaths of 70 million humans because of his aggressive war tactics and his hatred and his racism and his anti-Semitism, and over 400,000 American lives were lost in that war, fighting that war, fighting hate, fighting demagoguery and all that the Nazi organization stood for. Murder, rape, you name it, the worst in humanity, pathological lying, all of it. And to have the descendants of Americans who fought in World War II and gave their lives to fight such an atrocity as Nazism, such a terrorist organization that almost conquered the world, is in itself evil and terrorist. It's a terror tactic. Because I mean, imagine if you are a descendant of Jewish people and you have a guy standing in front of your door with a Nazi salute and a swastika flag and a Confederate flag. I mean, they all stand for hatred. Now, the argument that these people are making is that they don't want the Confederate statues removed because they're part of history in the South. Now, mind you, the Confederate flag, and especially the Confederate battle flag, was used to murder other people, and it was used to keep humans enslaved. A war was fought to keep Africans enslaved in the United States, and if I'm not mistaken, I think 600,000 Americans died in the Civil War, and the North won and beat that horrible ideology of having a right to keep humans enslaved. But these people say that it's not hate, it's Southern pride. Imagine if German people would keep statues and pin pictures and not only in their homes, but I'm talking in their capital, in Berlin. If they had a statue of Hitler in Berlin to commemorate the history of Germany, that's the same thing as having Robert E. Lee, which was a racist, hate-monger, murderous person. Just the ideal of fighting to protect slavery makes him a terrorist. Because if you don't think fighting for the right to keep black people as slaves is terror, maybe it's because you're racist. Because if you think that keeping a person enslaved because of the color of their skin is not terror, I don't know what to tell you, man. It's idiotic. It's evil of you to think that way. So, these people should be classified as terrorists, because that's where an extremist and they're all Christian. And people say, oh, those are not real Christians. It's like, where's the outrage? They consider themselves Christians just as much as the extremist Muslims consider themselves good Muslims. And I'm trying to make the analogy so that you can think of whenever you say, oh, Muslims are terrorists. Well, if you use that analogy, which is a crazy analogy because only a very small fragment, I mean like a minute statistical piece of the pie of the Muslim population is extremist. But if you still use the phrase that Muslims are extremists or Muslims are terrorists, then you would have to say that Christians are terrorists too, because demonstrably and historically, Christians have invaded and pillaged and raped and enslaved and done atrocities, and so have the Muslims. So are they all the Muslims? Of course not. It's a very small fraction, but we need to think about what we're doing here. This is not only anti-American, but it's disgusting to have Nazis and racist people in a place where almost 500,000 500,000 Americans died fighting Nazism, and to have people still commemorating and idolizing and having statues of Confederate leaders, the people that the terror organization, what is considered for me a terror organization. Anybody who wants to enslave a person, have a fight for a right to enslave a human, is a terrorist. So, it makes no sense to support that. And then where's the outrage from the Christian community? Where's the outrage from the Trump supporters? Because they're all so American patriots and stuff. If you're a patriot, you condemn anything and speak out against anything that supports terrorism, including white nationalism and Nazism. Those are terrorist ideals, so you see the double standard there. And then Donald Trump goes on a lip service act, says that hate must be stamped out and blah blah blah, and when in fact he himself supports people and has people in his cabinet who are Nazi supporters and sympathizers, racist. Jeff Sessions is a de facto racist. Steve Bannon, it traffics in hate in his website. He's a Nazi, a neo-Nazi, a Nazi sympathizer. So, and then Donald Trump calling for violence in his rallies against the people. And the people that oppose him or to protest in his rallies, to beat him up, that I'll pay for your lawyer's fee. And now he's his press secretary saying he's never advocated for that. I mean, the hypocrisy and the pathological lying is obscene, from this administration. I mean, everybody lies, but to what degree? I mean, this all of a sudden becomes offensive and ridiculous. But you have a choice to make. How do you want to be remembered in history? You want to be remembered as the person who did not speak up against hatred and terrorism, or do you want to be silent and complicit, or do you want to support that type of stuff, calling yourself a patriot, when in reality you're nothing but a hateful person, a bigot, and a racist person, and you want to be remembered, and you're going to be remembered by historians and humanity, if we do survive, as human trash. So the choice is yours.